Hey guys, what is going on? How you guys doing out there? Whoa, hey, what's going on? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm coming at you live from the Wizard's Tower. I'm really hoping all the sound is working well and all that jazz. I literally had to tear apart this aspect of the Wizard's Tower for something really important on Saturday. So, welcome to another episode of Darkcide of the Room. This is a show where you guys get to know a little bit more about me personally and how we share the story about gaming and benefits of gaming and my experiences with gaming that might sound just like yours, so that you guys know that you're not by yourselves. A special shout out to a lot of my patrons out there, specifically Shannon Boom Boom Lay and Paul Mansfield, which is awesome. For you guys out there that are watching, sorry I'm late. I had some serious stuff going on, and I had to run out to the music store and get more sound cables. It's been one of those. So yeah, but let's take care of business so I can get all this stuff out of the way real quick. So, if you guys want to join in on the show, feel free to join in on the chat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say what is up with the chat, because you guys are out there. Let me see if I can pull this up in the proper manner here. All right. So I'm turning down my music just a little bit. What's going on with you guys? Yeah, so let us say what is going on to the guys in NP City. What's going on in NP City? Right now we got Hurst and of course Shannon Lay, which is awesome. So as I was saying, just taking care of some business, getting some stuff done and all that jazz. But with that, I gotta say, it's really one of those things where if you guys like us, feel free to join us over in the chat, which is cool. Now, if you guys are like you and, you guys don't really want to talk in the chat on a show that you're not hosting, that's fine. Just feel free to pull up a keyboard and all that jazz and type in backinthedeck at gmail.com. It's backinthedeck@gmail.com. And you guys are already here on YouTube, which is awesome. So subscribe to the channel and push that bell, because if people don't push the bell, no one cares. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, the algorithm is a sick and dark mistress. I don't know why. I don't like it. I don't dig it. It's just one of those things that are there. So hit us up on the other social media things. On the Twitter, just look for Back in the Deck at Back in the Deck. Look at us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/BID_P. And hit us up on the Instagrams and all that stuff. Just look for Back in the Deck. You can find us just about anywhere. But if you guys are literally trying to help us out and all that stuff, I love you guys. I love you. I love you so hard. Just head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/BID_P. And for as little as $1 a month, just $1 a month, you guys can actually check out our archive and all that stuff. But guess what? You guys, again, unlocking stuff by becoming a patron. And yep, as you can see, we've got tiers that start at $1, doing what you can. And of course, if you want to do something big, sign up for that $100 a month thing. But we've got 1, 10, 5, 20, 50, all that jazz. And of course, we are here. Now, for those of you guys that are wondering if, what's the term I'm looking for? Oh no, we don't really like listening to or we can't watch all this stuff because, you're driving or you're doing your thing, which is fine. That's totally fine. That's okay. You can always, like we said a little bit earlier, head over to soundcloud.com/BID_P and you can check out our archive, and we got years and years and years of game reviews and TV talks and conversations with some people that I could name drop, but I don't want to be like that chick from Good Place. You know which one I'm talking about. So we are here, and soon you will still be here along with all of your friends, which is awesome and great, and I'm loving you guys for doing all that stuff. So, today's conversation. there's a lot going on with people right now. Man, there's a whole lot going on with people right now. Trying to get my sound rebalanced for in here. Again, it was a thing. But yeah, there was a huge thing going on right now. A lot of weird relationship stuff going on. You know, last week we talked about the benefits that gaming can have for you. And I am a big fan of the benefits that gaming can have. There's a lot that are going on. The math, the math stuff, all that jazz. The storytelling, I'm all for all of it. Okay, I really am. And one of the things that I noticed is one of the benefits of gaming, especially when it comes to folks, is being in a room with other people means that you have what's the term? There's a lot of that's the thing. There's a lot of consequences that you go through at a gaming table that you don't really do online. A lot of people were asking myself personally, like, do we cover video games and stuff like that? And the truth is, I don't. And the reason I don't really comes down to one major thing, okay? And that is on video games, there's a different manner of communicating with people. And it's like communicating with people online, if you will, you know? See if I can adjust this mic there. Yeah, it's like communicating with people online, which is in and of itself a little bit of a thing. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to let you guys know before. This is going to be hell in the edit, I will say that. So hard. We still got our contest going, which is cool. And I want to let you guys know that we still have our contest for subscriptions and all that stuff. And I'm very glad that more people are coming in and more people like what we're doing. There's been more stuff with the there's been a lot more stuff going on with the community center stuff, but it's been a rough 2 months because I had to take some time off of everything to do a job. And that's one of the things. But that's okay, because I've decided to change the things of the contest. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys some of the cool stuff that we got up for grabs on the contest, and I'll be right back. As you can see, we've got that's going on. We also have our glorious Cthulhu. I would say our Lord and Savior, but he's not, and I don't like to do that whole thing. But yeah, so we've got that stuff going, and again, these are some of the things I've been working on a lot more. That is so much better. I like this framing a lot better. We've been working on a lot more stuff, and the stuff that we've been working on is a lot more stuff to put in our store and to get you guys on. But yeah, forgot about all that stuff, and thanks, Deck Mob. So now that I've got that going down, what I'm going to be talking about here, interesting, I'm wondering where the sound is coming in from. I think I know. Nope, it's not coming in from there. Yeah. Oh, of course. That's coming in. Yeah, that's coming in from the monitor. Okay, so let's start over. As I was saying, I got a lot of stuff that's been going on A lot of people going through relationship stuff, a lot of people going through work stuff. And at gaming tables particularly, you've got to look the person in the eye. And that means you're going to have to practice social skills. Have you guys noticed that people on the internet are so mean? I think the word. People on the internet are so mean. It's turned out like when I was young, there was a whole lot of bullying and stuff. And it was not the kind of bullying that we have today. It wasn't just a bunch of people gathering around a person and teasing them, calling them names. There was like Stephen King bully level stuff. There was a lot of physical violence, and there were beatings and sometimes stabbings and stuff. And the adults around were like, well, just ignore the bullies. If you ignore them, they don't have any power over you. And I'm like, yeah, that's great in theory. Well, cyberbullying is that stuff that people have chosen to ignore. But how does that play into the world in which we live in? You know, that is the real scary thing. In the world that we live in, people online can be as mean as they want, and they can either be ignored or or people can, you know, follow them and do all that stuff, and I get that. But when you're at the gaming table, you can't be that guy. You can't be that guy, because anybody at the gaming table might look over and be like, dude, for real? For real? That's a thing? And I have flipped my amount of tables, okay? I have seriously flipped my fair amount of tables and yelled at people for being mean. And I've also been given my fair share of, dude, for real? So that's a real big thing. So when it comes to tabletop role-playing games and tabletop board games, anything you have to be in the same room with the person to experience, that changes the dynamic. Now, when I was growing up, like I said, I come from a pretty rough neighborhood. Just, you know, check the playlist and you guys can see a lot of my past. There was a lot of bullying even at the game table, because at the end of the day, all fights, all intellectual battles came down to physical violence if the bigger person or the one who could fight better couldn't win the fight. What was it? In one of my favorite poems by a British songwriter, it's a song, but it's really poetry. He said, he taught me to be good with words, and he bought me ceremonial swords. And in this way came grace and expertise. Now the swords, the words were to cut down and kill the muscle bound. And the swords were to fell my intellectual enemies. And that type of thing touched me, because I was really big on swords when I was young, because I had many intellectual enemies. That once I won the intellectual fight, it would then come down to a physical fight. And whoever won the physical fight, you know, was the one that walked away feeling good. You know, but when you're at a gaming table, in this day and age, in the 21st century, violence is not nearly as acceptable today as it was when I was growing up and where I was growing up. Even my old neighborhood is like, do you really got to fight? Are you that weak? And I kind of dig that. But this is a big thing, because a lot of people are unhappy about a lot of stuff. And you can see it all over YouTube. I mean, there's left tube and there's right tube, and there are the Ben Shapiro's of the world, and there are the people that are on the left saying everything should be free, and then the people on the right saying you just want free stuff. And I'm like, okay, who doesn't? And one of the things I've seen, because due to my lifetime of gaming and reading and entertainment, I can see things in a narrative state. And one of the things that I've noticed is that most people are unhappy with the life that they live. And it's interesting for me to observe. I've been working on becoming happier with myself for, 30 years now. And I didn't realize how far along I'd come. Okay. But I see a lot of things, a lot of people going, well, I'm unhappy and I want to blame something external. It's the people taking our jobs. It's my significant other isn't happy with me. It's my friends don't have the same definition of friendship as I do. I go through this. I hear it all the time. And this actually made me start thinking about some of my family members. Now, I recently had a visit from my grandmother, and that's a sordid tale that's not for this channel. And one of the things that I've noticed is she has a lot of shame and a lot of secrets. So many secrets, so much shame. And it makes me sad. And the thing that I had to wonder about, and this was a really, really big thing on my part, was what is she so ashamed about at 90 years old? Okay, what ideas about life and family and all that stuff is she holding on to that isn't proving to be reality, you know? And then an interesting thing came up with a friend of mine talking about their relationship and how they and their significant other don't see eye to eye on how to live a life. One person, and well, it's funny. This person has this thing of they go to work, they come home, and they essentially do the quiet parent thing of, I just want to watch TV and have beer, brr, or I'll take my cocktail and brr. And I have another friend who believes that a relationship is one way and their significant other thinks it's another way. And we all use the same language. We all use partnership and love and companionship and stuff like that. And the interesting thing for me is that these words are really big concepts. Big concepts. And these are things that I tend to explore on the gaming table when I'm a GM. I don't want to sound like Air Supply with, I want to know what love is. It's not even a matter of that. But one thing about role-playing games is the rules and definitions of things are codified and strictly defined. Okay? Mage Hand is a cantrip in Dungeons and Dragons, and a cantrip is a spell that you can do over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't cost you anything. You never run out of chances to do it, and that's perfect. It's fine. It's great. It's dandy. Other spells like Fireball, you can only cast so many times before you have to go to sleep. But Fireball does a certain amount of damage and a certain amount of space when you cast it at level 3, and that is it. And it is consistent, it is defined, it is strict, it is done. 1 + 1 = 2, that is it. But big concepts, relationship, love, friendship, family, those are large concepts. And over the course of my wizarding, I have learned that different cultures have different definitions of each of those things. I once knew someone, she was from the upper middle class. I mean, she was rich. And in her heart of hearts, she believed that Child Protective Services should be called on parents if a toddler doesn't have a playroom for their toys outside of the room that toddler sleeps in. I am not joking. This is not a joke. I'm not trying to find the funny. I'm literally saying this was her deep, deep, deep belief. And like this was fact. And I'm like, so in order to have a kid, you have to have at least a 3-bedroom house. One house for the parent, one house for the kid, and one house for the kids' stuff. And she's like, yeah, doesn't that, it just makes sense. And I'm like, but what if you can't afford that? Then you shouldn't have kids. So you're saying that the right to breed is earned monetarily? I mean, it's that gets kind of dangerous, because what if you're born into poverty? Should you just not have kids ever again? Because that sounds like genocide and forced sterilization. Like when you look into stuff, it gets ugly, you know. But a lot of people have these beliefs in these concepts of love, concepts of companionship, concepts of what's fair, and that is confusing when people are being honest. Okay. One of the things I noticed at a game table, because I've gamed with, God, hundreds of people over the course of my life. And I have gamed with many, many types of people from a lot of walks of life, is that they bring their values to the table whether or not they know it, because a person's values, a person's belief runs so deep that this is how not only they see the world, but they see the world so deeply wrapped up in their beliefs that the idea of it being any other way never even occurs to them. And we all do it. My mentor told me about a client that I'd worked for, and he had this kicking car. It's a kicking car. Thing costs at least $100,000. It's a BMW. I don't know what model it is. And my mentor was telling me that this guy is the frugal guy in his circle, in his world. If the police come by, he can just say something and then the police stop policing. And if he spends $100,000 on a BMW, that is like buying a Honda Civic to his world. Like it is to him what a Honda Civic would be to me, which is a frugal and economic buy. Because there are all these different levels of culture. And when it comes to cultural beliefs, I'm not saying stay in your lane. Absolutely not. Swerve all you want. Actually, no, don't swerve. But change lanes. Learn the rules of the road. Change lanes. Know what neighborhood you're driving in. And by that I mean, with the people that you're at the gaming table with, and this is the reason for session 0. This has always been the reason for session 0. Everybody's got to be on the same page of what the definitions of things are. When you're in a relationship, what does it mean to be a significant other? Like, what do you expect from your significant other in an itemized fashion? Not things like companionship or respect. I mean, I'm not saying don't ask for those things, but what you see as respect might be completely different from what your potential partner sees. And it might be something that they are not capable of. What they see as communicating love might be a language that you have never learned. There is an interesting book called The 4 Love Languages, and there are talkers, there are doers, there are present people, and there are a few others. It's been like 7 years since I read the book. But if one person expresses love by quietly sitting there, and another person expresses love with poetry and lamenting and all the stuff that you learned while when you studied the romantics in literature, if the two people in the relationship don't understand A, that the other person communicates that way, and B, doesn't understand that language, they're going to end up feeling unloved. If your friends express friendship by, like, okay, I'm putting it out there, I'm not going to be dirty with my laundry, okay, but, you know, there's a stain here and there. Most of my friends are introverts. And when I'm going through a problem, well, I'm an extrovert, as you guys can see in this conversation with the gesticulation. Okay? When I'm going through emotional trauma, I need friends to be there. I need to do things with friends. I need to interact with people. When they go through emotional trauma, they need to be left alone. They need to lock the doors, shut the blinds, and just go through it by themselves. That's just what they do. And it's what I do. However, my friends and I end up clashing because when I go through trauma, they treat me in the way that they want to be treated if they were going through trauma, and not understanding that that is the opposite of what I need from a friend. In their minds, they're being friends. In their language, they're being friends. It's, you're going through something, I'm going to leave you alone. And I'm going through something, help me. Matter of fact, most of my close friends out there know that when they tell me, oh, I'm going through a thing, I'm feeling bad, the first words out of my mouth are, I'm sorry. And the second words out of my mouth are, how can I help? What can I do? And if leaving them alone is what I can do, all they have to do is say it. I'm like, all right, I'll give you a call in a week, because that's how I express friendship. That's how I express love. But that's not the way that all my friends express love. And it has been a source of contention. It really has. So when we're at the gaming tables, or when I say force of contention, I mean I drop them like 7 a.m. French, and I'm still their friends, but I don't want them in my life. I'll just be there if they catch fire. Except for like 5 of them, in which case I'll grab the gasoline and send a friend. Anyway, when I'm at a gaming table, as the GM, I do everything in my power to make sure that people are present and that they understand stuff. Now, I can only do so much. If they think they understand, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to run you through a really quick scenario. It should only take like 2 minutes. You are at a door. A guy talks to you. What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to use what's on your character sheet? Now, I realize that's didactic, and some people take it as condescending. And I'm still trying to learn other ways to confirm that my players understand what's happening, or to show my players that they may not understand, but they might think they understand. And that's the whole thing. Not everybody is right about stuff all the time. All right? But yeah, it's really interesting. So, honestly, the takeaway from this is one of the things I learned at the gaming table is how to try and make sure that the people I interact with and I are on the same page with things. This annoys my significant other to no end. Because I'm like, hang on, I'm just trying to be clear. All right, I'm trying to understand. Okay, what does that mean? All right, are we looking for a solution, or do you just want to vent? I just need to know these things because I don't know these things. So what is it that we're talking about? What are we going through? What are we doing? And it is an interesting thing, but I find that when people are honest with themselves and honest with other people, they tend to not have as much friction with the people in their lives because everyone knows where everyone is coming from. And that helps us manage our expectations. And more to the point, it allows us to make an informed choice on who we have at our tables or in our lives. Okay? Now, there are a lot of people that aren't going to be that honest. It hurts. All right? It's uncomfortable. And if they're not willing to be that honest with themselves about who they are, like my grandma, if she's not willing to be, or if people aren't willing to be honest with who they are, what they believe, how they might even fall short of their own beliefs. That's one of the things that I'm still writing a video on that one about the dangers of belief, because a lot of the times people have beliefs and then they fall short of their own beliefs and then they beat themselves up or they beat up other people, and it's like, it's a lot easier to change the idea than it is to change the behavior of the entire world. But that's a different video for a different time. When I said in the description that we're talking about family, okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about family, and this is a funny thing. Hopefully, I've got some younger viewers out there watching. Family is an interesting thing. I'm letting you guys know I'm middle-aged. Okay, I am very we got deep. We got deep. Tiny. It's one of those things. I'm middle-aged, and I have a very good relationship with my mom. Okay, now I'm not saying my mother makes the greatest brisket, although she does. She throws down in the kitchen, and she's known throughout the country for throwing down in the kitchen. And I'm talking, California, Nevada, Texas, Georgia, Louisiana. They know when my mom opens up the kitchen, you best get in line, because if not, you're gonna miss something. Anyway, and we were talking about stuff, and she's letting me know more about her childhood, because of course her mom was in town, so she's going through stuff. And I just laugh, because the stuff I thought about my mom was true, okay? But the stuff that I didn't know about my mom was terrifying. And it was terrifying because I thought that a lot of the things I'm proud of myself for was something I genetically inherited from my father. Boy, was I wrong. And why am I bringing that up? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this flat out. Every person, you see this a lot in men, but there are a lot of women that go through this that I know, so I'm guessing that there's way more women that I don't know that go through it. We look up one day, and we realize that we have turned into our parents. You look up, and it's like, oh my God, I'm just like them. Sometimes this is a good thing. In my case, it's a very good thing. I have, like, a lot of the things I like about myself, I find that I got from my mom behaviorally. And a lot of the stuff that I don't like about myself, I know where it came from, so I know where to start working on it. But family is weird because one of the things, and this ties into culture, especially with gaming, okay? And this is video gaming and tabletop gaming, but your culture, i.e. when you're a kid, your home, your house is the first part of your culture, your family, your dinner table, the line for the bathroom, the people that you got to do all that stuff on Saturday morning with. That is the seed of your culture. And the culture that you're in will have an influence on you, whether or not you like it and whether or not you know. Okay? I didn't realize that my morbid sense of humor, I knew my morbid sense of humor and my very, very, very strict disciplinary things are things I got from my mom and my grandmother, or my great-grandmother. But I didn't realize that I got my intelligence from my mom. Nor did I realize I got my curiosity from my mom. I got my dogged, stubborn, never say die, never give up, never surrender, freaking drop dead before you fail mentality from my father. But I got hold up, that don't make sense, hold up. Okay, so on page 26, he's eating peanuts, but on page 91, he's wearing a hat that says peanut allergen. So how does that make sense? That's where I get from my mom. And my desire to have fun. I recently showed my mom one of my favorite action movies, the most honest movie of 2007, Shoot 'Em Up. And as soon as she asked questions, I'm like, what's the name of the movie? And she's like, yeah, this is sick, and this is amazing, and this is fun. And I'm like, holy crap, I am just like her. Recognizing that I like things that are terrible quality, because I'm not a snob, okay? I'm like, wow, this was a bad movie, but man, it's awesome. This is, and not like so bad it's good and I like it ironically. Oh, no, not at all. Shoot 'em up. Well shot, terribly written, doesn't matter. It promises It promises to use gunfights in the way that a musical uses singing, and it delivered, and I'm happy. I'm topping out. Okay, there we go. Just trying to get like I said, I'm trying to get the mic levels back to normal. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that came down. But all of us, whether or not we like it, are influenced by our family. Because our family in our formative years are the people that we spend the most time with. Okay, we spend the most time with our family, and just beyond that, we're talking like 2, maybe 3, 2, maybe 3% points lower than family is our school slash job. Okay, these are the people that we spend our time around most, which means their beliefs, their stuff. One of my old physics teachers gave me 4 very important rules to live by. And no, he wasn't Jordan Peterson. He called them laws because he was a physics teacher, and in physics you have a theory, and then once the theory is proven, repeated, and documented, and then reviewed by peers, it becomes a law. And the first law had 2 parts, its main part and its corollary. And it was the best instructor is he who lies with the straightest face. Corollary, never trust a good instructor because they're lying. And the meaning behind this is this. Everything we learn, if we go into something brand new, okay, if we start something that we've never done before, like a tabletop role-playing game, that first group that we sit down with is the foundation of how we believe gaming is done. And this is where a lot of debates and stuff come in, all right? I have a certain group of friends, and they're friends. They believe they're good friends, but they don't live up to my definition, but that's okay because they believe they're good friends, and I treat them like I treat friends on their level, and it works, okay? But they truly believe that getting together for a role-playing game, the game doesn't matter, just the BSing with your friends. That is what is important. And to them, that is what's important. Okay? This is them. And that's how they learn to game, and that is how it's done. I have another group of friends that believe that metagaming is the only way to play because they want to not lose by not being screwed over by being screwed over by the GM and the other people at game. And that's just how gaming's done. That's not how they approach an RPG. That is how they approach every RPG. That is what they look at as how to game. And I have my belief on what gaming was from where I started, not just because of the people I started gaming with, but because of what I researched and what I decided to believe in and out of the book. So that's a big thing, you know? Again, it comes back to what we were talking about in the last segment. That language, that belief, all right? That belief. When you guys are here, you're going to learn all the different aspects of gaming. All the different ways to game. But I'm doing my best to give you guys windows into every different way and technique. But that whole best instructor is he who lies with the straightest face. Okay, the easiest way that I can think of to explain this to you guys was how it was explained to me. When you are in pre-algebra, you are taught that a negative number multiplied by a negative number will equal a positive number. A negative times a negative equals a positive. Okay? You're also taught that a negative number added to a positive number will always equal a negative number. All right? And then you get to calculus, where 1 plus 1 equals 470 ants that are riding 99 red balloons. And you go, what? But there is no way that you could understand any mathematics enough to get to where you can understand, to evolve to where you can understand calculus, unless you believed, that what they told you in algebra class was the truth, the immutable truth. When I went to college for physics, I was happy he told me this, because when you're in school, you learn a whole bunch of Newtonian physics, okay? Equal and opposite action and equal opposite reaction, and gravity works this way. This is how much it pulls on our planet, blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as you start getting into subatomic theory, where Newtonian physics breaks down and means very little, you're completely lost. But that core belief from the beginning gives you an understanding and something to compare things to. This is where family comes in. Every person at one time or another in their lives looks up and realizes that they are just like insert family member. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of 4. And sometimes I look up and I'm like, hey, I'm like my brother, the martial artist lawyer. And then I look at my behavior sometimes and I'm like, I'm acting just like the Marine. And other times I'm like, man, I'm acting like the Army guy. And sometimes I'm like, man, I'm acting just like my mom. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's like, oh my God, if I'm acting like all these people, who am I? But part of being a wizard is being off of your nut. So it's a thing. But when you're dealing with family, you have to realize that they had an influence on you, for good or ill, because everything they taught you, especially when you were too small to reach the doorknob, you thought was the way that things are. You look at your dad and you say, that's a man, that's how to be a man, if you had a dad. If not, you look at the primary man in your life and you say, that's what a man is. Either that is what I'm going to marry, that is what I want to avoid, that is what I'm going to be, or that is the opposite of what I'm going to be, and that's what I'll never let myself become. All 4 of those things are influences. And they're always in the back of your head. The way that you learn stuff is influenced by your parents and by your role models. This is a huge thing, because when it comes to tabletop role-playing games, you have to ask yourself, who is your role model, and what kind of role model are you gonna be? Now, when it comes to me as a person, I do everything I can to be the person in a relationship that I want. Okay, I bring everything I can to the table, and I bust my butt to get more, so I can bring more. Not because I'm afraid that person's going to leave me, not because I think I'm not worthy. It's just I want great things for the people that I love, so I do my best to do great things. That takes time. That takes energy. My God, does that take a lot of money? And getting money is a totally different thing. So when it comes to the role model that I want to be, when I'm teaching people at my table to game, I do my best to err on the side of fun and err on the side of storytelling, because okay, I disagree with my friends that say the game is unimportant and it's just about hanging out with friends, because the game books are $50 each. So when it comes down to that, it's like, dude, I'm buying the game books, so we gonna use it. Because, unless you gonna buy me the game book. If you buy me the game book and then we go to your house and we just hang out and we don't use the game book, that's fine by me. But if I'm paying the money that I have to go through physical pain to get, we gonna play this game. Okay, that's just where I'm sitting. And that's what I try and make clear to my players. I'm like, I bought the game book. You guys are in the game. We gonna play. I went through the trouble of providing you guys with everything that you needed from the game book. Like photocopies of every single page of the game book. So we gonna play. We gonna play this game. Okay, so that's one of those things. But I don't come down like, you weren't prepared, so we're done. Blah blah blah. I just continue to make things go. And when they realize that they are unprepared, then they can talk to me about how to become better prepared in the future. And then, we evolve from there. But I try and make my expectations clear in a language that people can understand and let them know that that is not the only way that there is to do this. Okay? And that's really what this conversation is about today, which is, not the way, like, I'm trying to let you guys know that there's more than one way to do this, more than one way to have gaming stuff, more than one way, literally, to interact with people. Because I really don't want to talk politics. I don't, this is not what Back in the Deck Productions is for. We don't talk about politics. I'm not going to say, can you believe what politician occupying this office is doing this week? No. But what I will talk about is the way that people interact with each other online and not in real life. And that is, in real life, a lot of people have this idea that their beliefs are more important than what's going on. And in a lot of ways, the world is burning down for more people than not. Okay? And I don't personally care about other people's economic beliefs. I personally don't. The only thing I'm more concerned about is when person A sees someone suffering, do they justify the suffering or do they try to alleviate it? That's all. That's just where I sit. It's an old thought experiment, or something I saw on a Joseph Campbell documentary about how people are innately wired to be good, and I believe that. I believe that if somebody punches a single parent and takes the baby stroller with the baby in it and pushes it into traffic, someone will spontaneously, without concern for themselves, run out into traffic and save that stroller. Okay? Now, I realize it's the 21st century. That's why I say someone, not everyone, because someone's going to run out and save the stroller and 30 people are going to film it and put it up on YouTube. So that is the world that we live in, and I get it. Okay? But right now, there are more people hurting than aren't. I saw a thing on the Twitters the other day about someone that makes I believe it was $350,000 a year, talking about the struggle that they have. And as much as I wanted to say, are you kidding me? You want to talk about the struggle? Oh my God. Oh, you're struggling. Oh, poor, pitiful you. Oh, you can only have, oh my God. Yeah, you can barely afford the $7,000 a year for the 3 weeks off of work for family vacations, 2 vacations and 1 staycation. Oh no. Oh, and weekend getaways are in a different part of your budget. Oh no, you're struggling so hard. Yeah, I did publicly say you spend more on vacations and entertainment than people under my definition of struggle makes. But then I had to stop and I had to think, you know what? Where they are, from their perspective, from their belief, they are struggling. Now, granted, they're not bleeding. They're not concerned about starving to death. But that, what do they see as struggling versus what I see as struggling? And I'm trying to practice empathy on that. And I know a lot of you guys out there, like me, are saying, well, you know what? I practice empathy, but nobody practices empathy coming my way. Where's mine? When does mine? And I get it. I totally get it. And I get the frustration. Okay? I do. This is one of the reasons I started the channel, to let you guys know that I get you. I get you. And if I don't get you, I'm trying. I'm not here to say that you're wrong. I'm here to say, I'm trying to see things your way. I need help because I'm not from where you're from. You're not from where I'm from. And we have things like struggle and love and partnership and friend and family. And each of those things come with different definitions. And I just want to make sure not only that we understand that semantically things might be a little different. But let's not use those semantics as a reason to say, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. Let's be aware of those semantics at the gaming table and off of the gaming table to try and understand where everybody's coming from so that we can do something cool. Like explore space, end world hunger, or at least have a good D&D or Call of Cthulhu game. Huh? You know, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, I need to give my shout-outs this week because we're almost out of time. And with that, I want to thank Daryl. What's going on, Daryl? Hey, Daryl. That's right. That's Larry. That's Daryl. That's my brother Daryl. That's my other brother Daryl. As our new subscriber, also the new subscriber, Jack Lancaster. What's up? Big shout out. What's going on, Jack? Jack. He's a YouTube maniac. Jack. Anyway, and Daryl. Yes, perspective ruins everything. All right. Again, I want to do a new announcement. So, if we get right now the channel as it stands, okay, back in the deck as it stands, is at what? What are we at right now? Sadly, we are at 165 subscribers. That's all. I don't even have enough clout to get into VidCon. And, man, it's one of those things. So, here's the thing. When we get to 200 subscribers, I'm going to have a raffle. Okay? I'm going to have a raffle of our 200 subscribers. And one of them, I'm not sure which, but one of them, and I'm only doing one raffle, is going to get their choice of, is going to get their choice of the prizes that we have. There we go. Yeah, they're going to get their choices of the prizes that we have up for grabs. Be it, their choice of dice rollers, as soon as I can pull them up properly. Yeah, here we go. We've got dice rollers. I did not mean to do that. Yeah. So, as I was saying, yeah, they will have their choice of dice rollers between Cthulhu and the Angel of Transition. I might throw in a superhero type dice roller. I just haven't figured out what superhero, but I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to get sued or hit with a cease and desist order. Or a few other things such as dungeon tiles or science fiction dungeon tiles or things like that. And okay, yeah, I'm just going to do that. All right, you know what? You're absolutely right, Daryl. That is the logic, not the feeling. And I get that. I totally get that. I believe one of my old friends told me that I don't really leave room for people to feel. And I told him that's not true. I leave room for people to feel all the time. And you're right. Feelings go a long way. But here's the thing. And this is mainly for my adults out there. If you're a teenager and you're watching this, listen up too, because this is what you need to be spending these years practicing. Your guys' feelings are valid. They are always valid. All right? What you are feeling is an experience that you are going through. That is a serious thing. It is unique. It is real. Sometimes it is painful. Sometimes it is traumatic. Feelings can have the same effect biochemically as physical violence. So it's real. All right? However, your feelings do not excuse the actions that you take, nor do they excuse the harm that you cause others when you act on them. If you are feeling you are not excused from making choices. You can't say, I did this because I was feeling this. Okay, that's great. You can totally say that, but that's not going to mean that you are not responsible nor accountable for the ramifications or the results of what you do. This includes what you say to other people, how you treat other people, the lies that you tell based on your feelings, the yelling that you do based on your feelings, the stuff that you break regarding your feelings, or the way that you treat people based on how you feel. Okay? Don't get me wrong, there are some people out there that I would do terrible things to if I met them in person based on how I feel about what they do. But the actions that we take and the way that we react to the consequences of the actions that we take, those are two of the biggest factors that define who we are. Okay? That defines whether or not you're a good person. And I know a lot of people that want to hear that they're good people. But if you do bad stuff to people because of the way that you feel and you're looking for excuses, then you're not a good person. But you can be. Okay? So yeah, I'm right that. I'm definitely right that. So yeah, I mean it's a real thing. So I'm glad you said something about that, Daryl. And yeah, I interact with the chat. What? You guys are part of this show just as much as I am. At least I'd like you to be if you guys would speak up more. But yeah, we're coming into our time, and I think, what is that? Yeah, sounds like we're being a little bit played off, huh? Yeah, that's becoming a thing. Oh yeah, look at that. So, but with that, I want to say, hey, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for popping up in the chat and talking. I'm gonna ask for another favor this week. I want you guys to share this video. Share this video and any episode of Darkcide of the Room that has actually touched you guys emotionally. Share it on your social media pages, your Twitters, your Instagram, your stuff. I want to reach more people, not just to get more subscribers, not just to hurry up and do this raffle and let people get free stuff, but anybody that might benefit from the stuff that we talk about here and who might need to feel a little less alone. Share it. Share it. Get the word out. You know, that's a real thing. You know, that is a really real thing. So there we go. You know, that is a real big thing. But with that, I'm gonna say it sounds like I'm being played out, like I'm on a bloody award show, so that's fun. But again, thank you guys for showing up. A special thanks to the people in the chat, to the new people like Jack and Daryl, and to, of course, Nicholas Hirsch. Thanks for coming in all the way out there from New York. Thank you, Vixen, one of our most loyal deckers out there. Super special thanks to Shannon Boom Boom Lay, and of course Paul the Penman Mansfield. And of course, as I said, if you guys like what we do and you guys want to interact with us in a more private manner, because I get that you don't always want your stuff being all out there on the internet, that's fine. Just pull up a pen and paper, or not pen and paper, but pull up however it is that you interact with the world and type in backinthedeck at gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit up this thing if you are getting this from somebody sharing it with you. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, because the algorithm is more evil and unknowable than anything that H.P. Lovecraft ever wrote. So hit that bell, and follow us on Twitter at backinthedeck and Instagram at backinthedeck. Head on over to our SoundCloud, and for you guys, our SoundCloud is absolutely free. You guys can listen to former episodes of a whole lot of different shows, and I'm still trying to upload the entire archive because we've been doing this for a long time. A long time. I'm telling you guys that right now. And you guys can listen to that, download it, and keep it for free forever as our gift to you for saying, hey, you know, thank you guys for helping out and listening to all this stuff. And if you guys want to help us out in a very personal manner and help us keep the lights on, help me, you know, pay for all this other stuff, because Like I said, I was late today because I had to run out to the music store and get cables for all the sound. Then head on over to patreon.com/BID_P. Sign up on Patreon and become a patron for as little as $1 a month, or, you know, $5 or $10, you know, whatever it is that you can afford. But I promise you this, we put out a lot of content. We don't put out as much as Netflix and all that stuff, but as far as podcasters, a lot of people say, hey, what's the name of your podcast? And I'm like, which one? There's never a point where we have fewer than 4. And we're doing all that stuff. So yeah, so head on over to patreon.com/BID_P. Hit us up on all those places. And remember that if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or have the hobbies that you like because the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, your disability, or your budget, because, you know, I'm poor like me, then you tell them to take those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I will talk to you guys next week from the dark side of the moon.